Hello everybody and welcome back to SFF180. Thomas here, your host. As always, it is Monday, June the 5th, and time once again for the mailbag. What you thought after last week's epic episode that we were going to get some kind of a break or a reprieve around here? No, there's no rest. It just keeps coming in. Awesome new stuff. So we have a pretty decent size haul this week, 10 packages. Plus a nice big old box. Big old mystery box from the folks at Tor.com. So we're going to see what's in that. Yeah, you know, after last week's biggest, longest ever mailbag, I was a little bit concerned about that one, but I just went ahead and went with it. You know, what can I say? That one racked up, I think, more views faster than just about any mailbag I have ever done. What can I say? People really like the long ones. Yeah, okay, that didn't sound right. Suffice it to say, 40 minutes, not necessarily a liability, doing these things because it just means more and more books, and who doesn't love more books? Also, the BooktubeSFF Awards. The award show itself, we have a date. That's going to be Sunday the 25th, and I believe Sam Lane over at Thoughts on Tomes is going to host that live show on that afternoon, unless she disappears and goes into the witness protection program so she can hide from us. But otherwise, that's the schedule. And this week, and I think you only have until Wednesday. I don't know why the time frame is so tight on this, but get on over to the BooktubeSFF Awards because public voting on the final ballot is now up. So choose your favorite of the finalists. Link is below. Go and do that like right away. Well, not right away. Watch this video first and then go do it. But that's all for announcements, so without further ado, let's get into these packages, shall we? And I am going to go ahead and lead with the Tor.com box this time, because why not? Let's go ahead and have dessert first, shall we? So, oh boy. Okay, well, when Mordecai, the fine publicist over at Tor.com, said that he was just going to send me a bunch of stuff, he wasn't kidding. This thing is full to the very top, so I'm just going to start... Oh, well, yeah, I'm just going to start unloading, and yeah, this is Christmas in June, I'm not kidding. So it's a combination of arcs and stuff that is already out. This first one here is Killing Gravity. The author is Corey J. White, and this is a novella about, this is a space opera, I imagine. Mari Z can kill you with her mind, but she'll need more than psychic powers to save her in this thrilling science fiction space adventure. Before Miriam Z escaped in a bloody coup, Mephisto transformed her into a deadly void witch. Their training left her with terrifying capabilities, a fierce sense of independence, a deficit of trust, and an experimental pet named Seven. She spent her life on the run, but the boogeymen from her past are catching up with her. An encounter with a bounty hunter has left her hanging helpless in a dying spaceship, depending on the mercy of strangers. All right, so Killing Gravity by Corey White is available now from Tor.com Publishing. Oh, wait a minute. Wow. I didn't even notice this. This is a big old thing of little Tor.com buttons. You can't really see them all, very tiny, but they're a whole bunch of little, I guess this is like BEA type swag. Little buttons with the Tor.com spaceship on them. I'm going to count them here. Okay, there were 21 of these little things in that bag. Tell you what to do with all of these. I don't need 21. I'll keep one as a keepsake. How about this? The first 20 people starting today who sign up in Wink's Army at my Patreon for $2 a month to support the channel, I'll send you a Tor.com button. How about that? Yeah, I know it's bribes and that's evil, but fuck it. Okay, onward. Okay, next up we have one that looks pretty neat and pretty eerie. This is a September Tor.com release. It's called The Twilight Pariah. The author is Jeffrey Ford, who has written some science fiction before. Three friends go looking for treasure and find horror. All Maggie, Russell, and Henry wanted out of their last college vacation was to get drunk and play archaeologist in an old house in the woods outside of town. Yeah, that never goes well. When they excavate the mansion's outhouse, they find way more than they bargained for, a sealed bottle filled with a red liquid, along with the bizarre skeleton of a horned child. Disturbing the skeleton throws each of their lives into a living hell. They feel followed wherever they go. Their homes are ransacked by unknown intruders, and the people they care about are brutally, horribly dismembered. Oh golly. Three friends awaken something, a creature that will stop at nothing to retrieve its child. My golly, so that should teach you. Never take a demon child. Okay, so it sounds a bit Evil Dead-y, but that's not a bad thing. The Twilight Pariah by Jeffrey Ford is a September Tor.com release. Next up, I'm very delighted to see this. This is the Delirium Brief. It's new from Charlie Stross. This is the new Laundry Files novel. It's switched over to Tor.com from the, I guess from Ace. Yeah, Ace used to do the Laundry Files series, and now they're at Tor.com. So the Delirium Brief is the newest one. The Laundry Files are a branch of British intelligence who are designed to protect the world from, like, Cthulhu and the Elder Things and stuff like that. Anyway, it says, now following the invasion of Yorkshire by the host of Air and Darkness, the Laundry's existence has become public, and Bob is being trotted out on TV to answer pointed questions about elven asylum seekers. There's a bit of social commentary in this one, I see. What neither Bob nor his managers have foreseen is that their organization has earned the attention of a horror far more terrifying than any demon, a British government looking for public services to privatize. Oh yeah, just a bit topical here. Inch by inch, Bob Howard and his managers are forced to consider the truly unthinkable, a coup against the British government itself. These are fun books, and this one definitely sounds like it takes it up a notch. All right, so the Delirium Brief is in July from Tor.com. And this next one is another novel, quite exciting to see. This is Null States by Malka Older. It is the second book in the Sentinel cycle. It's a sequel to Infomocracy. This is a trilogy that is all about governments based on information exchange and data and systems, how they work and how they operate and function deep behind the scenes. And this is out in September, and this is a very lovely art. Look, the ARC even has the red shiny foil stamping on it. So here we go, Null States in September. And next we're going to go back to some short novels and novellas. This next one, look for a review of this one very soon. This one's quite a hoot. It's called River of Teeth, of the author Sarah Gailey. And this is an adventure that is set in the 1890s, and the premise is, this is apparently based on an actual plan that was put in, or at least put down on paper. I don't think it was actually, it certainly wasn't set in motion. But the plan was to deal with a shortage of meat in the US, that down in like the bayous and swamps of Louisiana, they were going to import hippos from Africa, and the idea was that the hippos would clear out all of the algae and the gunge and the undergrowth from the bayous, and then the people would eat the hippos. And so this is imagining, what if that actually took place, and then suddenly you have like people riding hippos for whatever reason, and yeah, it looks like a whole lot of fun. So River of Teeth by Sarah Gailey is available now from Tor.com. And this next one is Mapping the Interior. The author is Stephen Graham Jones, and this is one that I've been so intrigued by that I am considering very strongly. In fact, I think it's a very strong contender for being part of my list of titles for this week's Halloweek coming up, end of October. So this says, let's see, it's a literary horror tale about race and America deeply rooted in the contemporary Native American experience. Blackfeet author Stephen Graham Jones delves into his characters' conflicted feelings toward their ancestry, haunted as they are by the ghost of a father whose death severed their ties to the reservation. Walking through his own house at night, a 15-year-old thinks he sees a person in full Blackfeet regalia step through a doorway. Instead of the people who could be there, his mother or his brother, the figure reminds him of his long-gone father who died mysteriously before his family left the reservation. When he follows it, he discovers his house is bigger and deeper than he knew. So it's own voices horror, as it were, about the Native American experience, and I'm really intrigued by that. So Mapping the Interior, Stephen Graham Jones, I guess this is a finished copy, so I guess it's available now. Next up, it's Lightning in the Blood by Marie Brennan. This is the second short novella in her series The Varakai, and the earlier one was Cold Forged Flame. Marie Brennan, of course, has written the Lady Trent dragon novels about a Victorian-era lady scientist out studying dragons in the world. And so this one, Lightning in the Blood, follows up At the beginning, no, at the end she appears, full of fury and bound by chains of prophecy. Once there was a call a-binding, and so a woman appeared, present in body but absent in knowledge of her past self. Making the ultimate journey of rediscovery was not without its own pitfalls or rewards, and now a roaming archon, spirit of legend and time and physically bound to her current form, has yet to fully uncover her true identity. So, lightning in the blood from Tor.com. Marie Brennan, it's available now. And we haven't stopped yet. This is an October title coming up. The author's Tade Thompson, and this is called The Murders of Molly Southbourne. Again, seems like another strong contender for Halloween. This one says, the rule is simple, don't bleed, for as long as Molly Southbourne can remember. She's been watching herself die. Whenever she bleeds, another Molly is born, identical to her in every way and intent on her destruction. Molly's parents trained her well. She knows every way to kill herself. She knows how to butcher Mollies for easy disposal. But she also knows that as long as she survives, she'll be hunted. No matter how well she follows the rules, eventually the Mollies will find her. Can Molly find a way to stop the tide of blood, or will she meet her end at the hands of a girl who looks just like her? So, The Murders of Molly Southbourne seems pretty chilling. Could be lots of fun, if because I like this kind of thing. Out in October from Tor.com. And finally, have something that I'm very excited by. This is a much anticipated debut release, actually a pair of releases. The author is Ji Yang, I believe is the pronunciation. And these are a pair of, like a pair of companion fantasy short novels. They try to call them novellas here, but each one of these, like one of them is 215 pages, the other one's 247 pages. Back in the day, the average science fiction novel in mass market paperback was something like 180 pages, so these are novels, all right? But anyway, like I said, they are epic fantasy, they're companion pieces, as you see, very Asian. In theme, fallen prophet, it says, master of the elements and daughter of the supreme protector, Sanao Makoya has abandoned the life that once bound her. Once her visions shaped the lives of citizens across the land, but no matter what tragedy Makoya foresaw, she could never reshape the future. Broken by the loss of her young daughter, she now hunts deadly, sky-obscuring Naga in the harsh outer reaches of the kingdom with packs of dinosaurs at her side, far from everything she used to love. Okay, and that's just one of these, The Red Tides of Fortune. In the companion book, The Black Tides of Heaven, well, it goes like this. Makoya and Akeha, the twin children of the Protector, were sold to the Grand Monastery as children. While Makoya developed a strange prophetic gift, Akeha was always the one who could see the strings that moved adults to action. While Makoya received visions of what would be, Akeha realized what could be. What's more, they saw the sickness at the heart of their mother's protectorate. So here you have it, The Black Tides of Heaven and The Red Threads of Fortune. Like I said, these are companion novels. They're coming out at the same time. I don't think there's a particular order they need to be read in, although Black Tide sounds very much because, the main character here is a kid, so it sounds like this is a bit more of the origin story. Like I said, it doesn't matter in which order you read them, evidently, but these are both coming out in September from Tor.com Publishing, and I intend to review them very soon. But anyway, just let me know in the comments. And that was the exciting Tor.com box. Yeah, I could do with a lot more of those, as many as you want to send, Mordecai, so thank you very much. And thank you to everyone at Tor.com for really killing it with these gorgeous, amazing little trade paperback novellas. It's something else. Okay, we're not done. Onward. So, I'm going to continue with this. Do I need to keep telling you all how I hate these little vacuum seal packages? They're just a hassle to tear open. But this comes from the Hat Check group, so possibly an Orbit title, but not necessarily. I was wrong. See, this is a new book from Amulet. This is a young adult imprint from Abrams Books. The book is called More of Me. The author is Katherine Evans. This comes out on the 13th of June. Teva goes to school, studies for exams, and spends time with her friends. To the rest of the world, she's a normal teenager, but when she goes home, she's anything but normal due to a genetic abnormality. Teva unwillingly clones herself every year, and lately home has become a battleground. When boys are at stake, friends are lost, and lives are snatched away, Teva has a fight on her hands, a fight with herself. As her birthday rolls around, Teva is all too aware that time is running out. She knows that the next clone will soon seize everything she holds dear. Desperate to hang on to her life, Teva decides to find out more about her past and uncovers lies that could either destroy her or set her free. Sounds just a bit like the same premise of the murders of Molly Southbourne just a few minutes ago, but without the, my clones are trying to actually murder me part of it. Without the horror angle. We're all obsessed with cloning ourselves this week. But anyway, Katherine Evans, June 13th, More of Me from Abrams. All right, moving on. We have a white envelope, possibly a Tor title. And it is. This is a new book by Dan Wells. Dan Wells just came out with one. I think, well, beginning of the year anyway. This is called Nothing Left to Lose. It comes out tomorrow, June the 6th. It is the sequel to his earlier novel, I Am Not a Serial Killer. And it features John Wayne Cleaver, a heroic young man who is a potential serial killer. And then, that book was made into a movie. Let's see. Now Wells returns to this thrilling world for what might be the last time with nothing left to lose. John Wayne Cleaver hunts down demons. They've killed his neighbors, his family, and the girl he loves, but in the end he's always won. Well, sounds like not much of a victory. At that price. Well, anyway, now John and his only friend Brooke are on their own, hitchhiking from town to town as they hunt the last of the Withered through the Midwest. But the Withered are hunting them back, and the FBI is close behind. So in this thrilling new installment in the John Wayne Cleaver series, Dan Wells brings his beloved anti-hero to a final confrontation with the Withered in a conclusion that is both completely compelling and completely unexpected. John doesn't want to kill people. Well, you just told us the unexpected. All right. But John has learned the hard way that you can't always get what you want, and his clothes have the stains to prove it. Okay. So Nothing Left to Lose by Dan Wells is out tomorrow from Tor. This is called A Gathering of Ravens. It's from Thomas Dunn Press. It comes out on the 20th. And yes, this is one that I've been kind of intrigued by ever since I first saw it announced. The author is Scott Oden, as I might have said. It's an epic novel of vengeance, faith, and the power of myth. Let's see, readers will appreciate the sophisticated fantasy and rich history of the story. Okay. It's a mytho-historical saga blending the history of 11th century Europe with Norse and Celtic mythology. All right, John Gwynne really likes it, apparently. To the Danes, he is Skrelinger. To the English, he is Orkneas. To the Irish, he is Fomorag. All right. He is Corpse Maker and Life Quencher, the bringer of night, the son of the wolf and brother of the serpent. He is Grimnir, and he is the last of his kind, the last in a long line of monsters who have plagued humanity since the elder days. Drawn from his lair by a thirst for vengeance against the Dane who slew his brother, Grimnir emerges into a world that's changed. A new faith has arisen. The old ways are dying, and their followers are retreating into the shadows. Even still, Grimnir's vengeance cannot be denied. Taking a young Christian hostage to be his guide, Grimnir embarks on a journey that takes him from the hinterlands of Denmark, where the wisdom of the ancient dwarves has given way to madness, to the war-torn heart of southern England, where the spirits of the land make violence on one another, and thence to the green shores of Ireland and the Viking stronghold of Dublin. Yes, that's it, Dublin, where his enemy awaits. But unless Grimnir can set aside his hatreds, his dream of retribution will come to nothing, for Dublin is set to be the site of a reckoning. The old ways versus the new, and Grimnir, the last of his kind, left to plague mankind, must choose. Stand with the Christian king of Ireland and see his vengeance done, or stand against him and see it slip away. All right then, so A Gathering of Ravens sounds like a very fraught and very violent and very vengeful epic fantasy, historical epic fantasy, and it comes out on the 20th by Scott Oden. And moving on down the stack, we have a random Penguin title. Wow, that was quick. This literally just came out in hardcover in January. I still have it on my TBR to read because it was one of my anticipated books for this year, but now they've already announced the paperback for June 27th of The Bear and the Nightingale. It's, again, based on a Russian myth. At the edge of the Russian wilderness, winter lasts most of the year and the snowdrifts go taller than houses. But Vasilisa doesn't mind. She spends the winter nights huddled around the embers of a fire with her beloved siblings, listening to her nurse's fairy tales. Above all, she loves the chilling story of Frost, the blue-eyed winter demon who appears in the frigid night to claim unwary souls. Wise Russians fear him, her nurse says, and honor the spirits of the house and yard and forest that protect their homes from evil. So you imagine that things are going to go very, very badly for Vasilisa and her family. But anyway, yeah, so this will already be in paperback by the end of this month. The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. Yeah, that hardcover to paperback window is getting tighter and tighter lately. Another from Random Penguin. And it's the finished copy of The Black Elfstone, which is part 1 of The Fall of Shannara by Terry Brooks. Comes out on the 13th, and this has been announced as the beginning of the final trilogy, the very final story arc of Terry Brooks' entire Shannara series. And then after this, he's done. All right then, so he's had a 40-year run of it, so I guess maybe time to go ahead and put it to bed. Why not? So hopefully he'll end it on a high note for the fans, but as I said, Black Elfstone, this comes out on June the 13th in hardcover from Del Rey. And next up we have one, probably a saga title. And it is! Very happy to see this. This is the finished copy at last of The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter. The author is Theodora Goss. I believe it's her first novel. And let's see, this one is all about, well, Mary Jekyll. Alone and penniless, fathering her parents' death. I have to hold it like this and read the flap because there's no sell sheet. Well, I mean, there's like a little thing, but anyway, it says, a clue leads her to believe that Edward Hyde, her father's former friend and a murderer, may be nearby, and there is still a reward for information leading to his capture, a reward that would solve all of her immediate financial woes. But her hunt leads her not to Edward Hyde, but to Diana, his daughter, a near-feral child left to be raised by nuns. With the assistance of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, Mary continues her search for the elusive Hyde, and soon gathers around her more women, all of whom have been created through terrifying experimentation. Beatrice Rappaccini, Catherine Moreau, and Justine Frankenstein. When their investigations lead them to the discovery of a secret society of immoral and power-crazed scientists, the horrors of their past soon arrive on their doorstep as well, and now it is up to the 5 of them to stop the malicious machinations of the Société des Alchimistes. Quite simply, it is time for the monsters to triumph over the monstrous. So here we have it, The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter comes out June 20th from Saga Press. Let me know in the comments. Alright, and moving on. Another Tor title, I suspect. Well, okay, this is one from Tor. The author is Michael Johnston. It's called Solari. Comes out June the 13th, and wow, can I just say, if the job of a book cover is to make a strong first impression and leap off the shelf and say, buy me, this one kind of overachieves. Anyway, golly, what is this one all about? It says, vast in scope and intricate in conception, Solari is the story of a rebellious king, his ambitious daughters, his lost son, and their secrets and struggles for dynastic supremacy, rooted in the history of ancient Egypt. The novel is the result of a decade of research and is inspired by the Johnstons, maybe by just Johnstons, not the Johnstons. Passion for and study of art history, his previous career in architecture, and the story of King Lear. At its heart, it's the story of one family told on a grand canvas. The ruling family of the Solari Empire has been in power for longer than even the calendars that stretch back 2,826 years. These records tell a history of conquest and domination by a people descended from gods, older than anything in the known world. They are detached, distant rulers. No living person has seen them for centuries, yet their grip on the 4 subjugate kingdoms remains tighter than ever. On the day of the annual eclipse, the Harkin king, Arco-Hark-Wadi, sets off on a hunt and shirks his duty rather than bow to the emperor. Ren, his son and heir, is a prisoner in the capital, while his daughters struggle against their own chains. Merit, the eldest, has found a way to stand against imperial law and marry the man she desires, but needs her sister's help to do so, and Kepi has her own ideas. Meanwhile, Sarah Amunet, mother priestess of the sun god's cult, might just hold the key to secrets that could end an empire and shatter her family. This series debut portrays a world of ancient and elaborate rites, of unseen power and kingdoms ravaged by war, where victory comes with a price, and every truth conceals a deeper secret. Michael Johnston elaborates, it's a mix of the real and the unreal, the believable and the impossible. There's a lot of history in my novel, but it isn't historical fiction. And so he took his knowledge of history and blended it into his own fantasy realm. Cool. All right, and he's doing a few appearances in New York and California throughout June. So, out the 13th, Solari from Tor. Let me know in the comments. Moving on down, you guys, second to last one. This is feels very much like a random Penguin hardcover of some kind. And it is. It is the finished copy, the hardcover edition of Anthony Ryan's Legion of Flame. This is the second book in his series, The Draconis Memoria. The first book was called The Waking Fire. That's it. Anyway, this is all about dragons, as you might have guessed, or they call them drakes here. And the idea is that in this world, drake blood is a very, very valuable natural resource. It's much like oil. And a great many conflicts arise because of various forces trying to gain control of as much of this stuff as possible. So, the Legion of Flame is out from Ace as a June hardcover. Several friends of mine on BookTube and elsewhere have read The Waking Fire. I hear mixed reviews of it, but in any event, if you like dragons, maybe worth a look. And that's last up, you guys. Turned out to be another big week. This feels like a pretty fat hardcover from HarperCollins this time. Well, what fun. This is a good way to wrap up the mailbag this week, I say. This is The Rise and Fall of Dodo, the finished copy in hardcover. The authors are Neil Stephenson and Nicole Galland. And this comes out on the 13th. And anyway, this is a novel all about a history in which magic used to exist in the world, and then for whatever reason, it stopped working altogether in 1851. And so you have this group of folks, the Department of Diachronic Operations, attempting to develop a device that can bring magic back and send diachronic operatives back in time to keep it alive and meddle with a little history at the same time. So anyway, this sounds like it could be quite a bit more lighthearted than you might think of from Neil Stephenson, with the collaboration of Nicole Galland, and we'll see. But The Rise and Fall of Dodo comes out, I guess, a week from tomorrow, and you don't even have to ask because this one is already on the review queue. Well, everybody, how about that? Another big week after the big week. But a bunch of good stuff, I have to say. Anyway, you know the drill. Fire up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, which you'd like to see me prioritize in the review queue. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. Share the video far and wide with all of your friends, and please subscribe if you haven't done so. That's how SFF180 grows. As a channel, you can also support the channel at its TeePublic store and, as I've said, at my Patreon, where I very, very much appreciate all of the folks who help keep the wheels greased around here, $2 a month. Thank you all so much for that support, and thank the rest of you. Thank anyone here who is just here to watch and check the books out. I really appreciate your presence. Okay, so there you have it. Check out all the new content, the newest reviews, and I guess until I see all of you awesome people next time, happy reading.